Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dimensional Fork in the Road Summit, where we are gathering with an inspiring group of spiritual teachers, light workers, and wisdom keepers to explore the fifth dimension and the road ahead of us. This event is designed to open space for each one of us to engage with our evolutionary choices and to offer a tangible vision as well as practical tools to forge a high-frequency pathway for humanity. So please step into this sacred space with us and immerse yourself in the fifth dimension consciousness. Here you will receive inspiration and high-level guidance to move through these transitional times and anchor a fifth dimensional reality for yourself and for the planet. My name is Heather Linn. I'm your host and the creator of this event. My guest today is Yolandi Boshoff. Welcome, Yolandi. I'm so delighted you can join us.
Oh, thank you so much, Heather. It's really amazing that I get to be here today, and I'm very excited for having this chat with you as well.
Great. So let me introduce you more formally to our audience. Yolandi Boshoff is a light worker, a spiritual coach, a teacher, and a healer with a passion for travel, sacred sites, and spiritual adventure. She teaches clients from more than 35 countries around the world how to listen to their inner guidance and return to the essence of their divine souls. She does this through DNA activations, light language healings, Akashic record readings, soul channeling, and coaching. Yolandi also shares her teachings through her podcast, The A to Z of Spirituality, her YouTube channel, group meditations, workshops, and retreats. Yolandi has recently released her new book, The Starseed Sacred Circle. This is a journey back to your truth and focuses on releasing judgment and embracing your inner weirdo. Originally from South Africa, Yolandi lives in Devon in the UK. Yolandi's topic is embracing your starseed lineage. Yolandi, I'm so excited to explore this wonderful topic and very topical topic with you today. What exactly is your understanding of a starseed?
Okay, so every single one of us as souls, when we are incarnated the very first time, your soul chooses to go somewhere, right? So my soul might choose to come directly here to Earth, or my soul might actually choose to go to another planet or realm or dimension and start working from there. So for me, starseeds are basically souls that come from a different planet, has the consciousness of that planet, brings that energy and that frequency here to Earth, and they basically have a need and a want and a bit of a mission to want to come and do things here on Earth, to connect with the energies here and the frequencies here. So starseeds for me are literally humans very much connected to the stars, humans who bring in information from the cosmos here onto this planet. And it's all about that connection with these different planets around the universe and the wisdom that these planets hold, and then these humans coming here and sharing that with everyone here on Earth, basically. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And such exciting times, really. Are there different types of starseeds, so kind of subcategories of starseeds?
Yeah, so I've been working now with starseeds since 2015, and I have met more than 26 different groups of starseeds, right? So they are, I think the more popular ones that we know about are like the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and the Andromedans and the guys from Sirius, but there are so many more. So you've got like Lyrans, guys from Vega, Speaker, etc. I mean, I've got lists of these different souls that I've met so far and worked with. So there's a whole variety in every single starseed group, and there's many new ones actually coming in now as well, which is really exciting. A lot to do with the age that we're going into, but all of these groups of souls are literally here with different ideas, bringing in different information, bringing in different light codes and frequencies, and then obviously interacting with each other and with the earth souls, etc. And they literally like wake up these parts of us to remembering the bigger picture, right? The unity consciousness that we're all striving for at the minute and that we're all working towards. So there's so many of these different souls, and everyone's got like a different type of personality. So it's almost like when you meet someone, you can go, oh my goodness, that person's a Pleiadian. I can feel it. You know, it's just, they've got this like energy about them that they bring into the planet and into the consciousness here for everyone to experience.
Thank you. Yeah, that is really so exciting that we're having all these kind of incoming energies and support at the moment.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earth souls, and can you elaborate on the difference between earth souls and starseed souls, and also how would someone be able to tell if they didn't know what kind of soul they were?
Yeah. So your earth souls are literally souls who, with their first incarnation, decided to come to Earth first, right? So they didn't go to, like myself, I identify with being an Andromedan starseed. So my very first incarnation, that's where I went. And I did a bit of traveling around, and I've explored other places that I've been. But when you're an Earth soul, you literally come here first, because it's almost like your main priority is this planet, working with the energies of Mother Gaia and being here and helping this process that's happening here. So what happens with the starseed souls is they come from out there and they literally drop in here and they're going, okay, cool, we're going to come and help the earth souls for this whole process of Gaia's ascension, for the healing and for everything and all the light codes, etc., that needs to be activated here. So for me, when you are in that space of wanting to figure out, like, am I an earth soul or a starseed? For me, it was the very first time I found out. When I got told, I was literally like, I just broke down in tears, because something inside of me just went, yes, this is right. And it's very much a feeling that you carry within yourself. It's a deep, deep knowing. So if you really take the time to sit with it, open your heart to that question, am I a starseed? You will immediately feel the resonance in your body. You will immediately feel this is a yes or a no. And for me, it was a really emotional thing when I figured out, oh my goodness, there's actually such a thing as starseeds, and boom, this is actually the answer. But I just want to make it very clear that, like, one's not better than the other. You know, like a lot of people go, oh, but being an earth soul might be so boring. It's like, no, the thing is, like, your connection with Mother Gaia is like so profound. And I love working with earth souls because their practical, grounded approach, where, you know, starseed souls like myself, very much always up there with the fairies and doing your thing. But like being here and having that grounded connectedness with Gaia is immense. It's huge. And that being able to work with the energies of Mother Earth, which is so freaking powerful in itself. And I think people dismiss that. So yeah, for me, that's what earth souls are really all about. They get to work so intimately with Mother Gaia, where a starseed like myself, I have to learn to do this, and I've had to learn to really connect with the energies of Gaia, where for them it's just so easy, and it's so powerful and magical as well. So there's something to be said for that.
Great, yeah. And just for the record, I'm an earth soul, and I totally resonate with your description of, you know, the earth soul set of interests and powers, I guess. But can you elaborate a little bit more on the difference between the earth soul role and the starseed role at this particular moment in our evolution?
So it's an interesting one, that, because for me, the remembering of the earth souls and their connection with Gaia, that needs to, it's almost like it has to be woken up again, because there's such a huge amount of earth souls, but we've lost our connection with Gaia. Okay, so humans in general, but especially a lot of the earth souls. And for me, it's about, like, the role of the starseed is to come and remind people of their connection with Gaia and the importance of working with Gaia, but also obviously their connection with the stars, because we've all got that connection with the cosmos and the stars. So there's definitely, for me, there's that importance of almost the coming together of the cosmos and the earth, and then literally like remembering again that it's actually all about the earth. It's actually all about helping her, like working through it, and just it's all about remembering at this point in time. So I just want, yeah, for me, it's like almost like my mission. It feels like I just want everyone to remember how important she is and our reconnection with her, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And also just this notion of really working together,
Yes.
the one supporting the other. I mean, Earth souls support starseeds and starseeds support Earth souls in different ways. So
Yes.
yeah, I love that sort of, that cooperative aspect there. So
And I think it's,
yeah.
so I just want on that as well. I just want to say, because there's a wisdom that Earth souls carry, and there's a remembering that they carry that the starseed souls don't necessarily know about. So, like getting back into that space of bringing up that ancient wisdom that is kept in the land, because that's where the Earth souls thrive, right? Like that wisdom coming back up, and then the starseeds get to learn from that as well. So it's not just like Earth souls learning from starseeds, but it's the other way around as well. So we all get to work
Yes.
together basically, and opening up all this wisdom.
Right. Yeah, I think that's such an important point. Thank you for that. So I'm really interested to hear more about your own journey as a starseed, and when you first became aware of that, and where did it all start for you?
Okay. So, so I was pretty much like walking through the world in a very much in a state of 3D-ness, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
So this was about, when was this? In about 2012, 2013, I started digging into things like past lives, and I was really interested in all of that. And then a friend of mine said, "Oh no, you have to go for an Akashic record reading." She found this woman, and I was like, "Oh, cool, let me just try it out. She's going to tell me some stuff about my past lives." And I got there and I had this reading with this woman, and it was literally like, "Do you know that you're connected to Andromeda?" And like I said earlier, it was just like everything stopped. It's just like my whole world just went boom. And at that stage,
Wow.
I was a business analyst working in the financial industry. I was in corporate, happily doing my thing. And then when that came out, and the fact that she also told me I was a healer, like it kind of shifted everything for me. And I was like, I need to look into this. So luckily for me, I got retrenched by the end of that year, and I kind of had to make a decision as to, did I want to go into this healing role, or did I want to go back into my corporate role? And I basically decided that I wanted to try out healing and see what it's about. So I learned how to read the Akashic records. I became a little bit obsessed with star seeds and researching and looking into it. And then I met amazing people during my journey. And it was just really that, like that real starting to connect with that energy again, because then I realized, but hey, it's not just you're from Andromeda, but like there's all of this energy that you can connect with. There's all of this energy that's connected to the cosmos that you can work with. And so then I eventually started tuning into the energies, and I was able to start channeling some of the energies and all of that. And I was like, this is amazing. This is so exciting. And it just grew from there. And then I really just deepened my connection with the stars. But a few years later, I came to the very abrupt realization that I needed to connect with Earth, because I was so happy playing up in the stars and like speaking to all these light beings and channeling all this information. And it was just like, oh my goodness, like you can only properly connect back to the cosmos if you're properly connected to Mother Gaia. And I was like, what? I was just like, kind of like, I don't really want to be here. I just want to go back home to the stars. I don't like being on Earth. And then it was such a big realization for me when I had that moment when she literally spoke to me, and she's like, no, but your soul chose to come here. Your soul chose to be on this planet to come and work here. So it's not that I brought you here, you chose to come here. And I was like, oh my goodness, this was a soul choice for me as a star seed like lineage being to come here and work with this planet. And so that just shifted everything, because the minute I started working with the energies of Earth, it was like my whole connection to the cosmos opened up even more. So the more I understood my role for Gaia, the more everything else made sense as well. So that's kind of in a nutshell how it all happened.
Oh, wow. I mean, it really was such a transformation experience
Yeah,
for you, really
yeah,
exciting. And yeah, I just want to say I had an Akashic Records reading with Yolandi many, many years ago, probably about 10 years ago. And yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it was so amazing. So how do you bring this starseed identity? How does it help you in your work? How do you use it in your work to help other people?
So for me, what it taught me about myself was that, like, people look at this stuff and they're like, oh my goodness, this is so weird, and I don't know, if I want to actually identify with that. But what it's taught me is it's shown me how to be myself, and it's shown me that it is okay to be myself, and it's shown me that it is okay to actually be in this experience and in my beliefs and stuff. So the biggest thing it has taught me is to step out of judgment of myself and into acceptance of what my beliefs are and how I feel about things. That felt really important. And yeah, so I get to literally tune into the different energies and bring through information, etc. So it's shown me that there's so much more out there that we can work with and play with and experience and feel, and to bring that back into this planet, that feels just so important for me. So stepping out of judgment was one of the biggest things that I learned
Okay.
about being a star seed.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a big lesson for all of us. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, through your work with Starseed, well, yourself and also many, many other Starseeds, what do you think the biggest lesson right now for Starseeds on the planet is? If there's a sort of collective lesson or something that needs to be brought forth.
So I do feel very strongly about like embracing that part of yourself and going down that rabbit hole and seeing what there is, because your soul didn't come here for no reason. Okay, your soul
Mm.
chooses to come to this planet, especially at this time when we're moving through this massive transition. As a collective, everything changes. And yeah, so it is like really just like stepping into like your soul chose this. This is your reasoning, and you need to tune into that. You need to, when you're feeling that call, that that voice inside of you that basically tells you about these things, when you go down those rabbit holes and start experiencing what is out there, it changes your perspective, and your consciousness opens up in a whole new way that is, yeah, it's quite crazy and amazing what you get to find and what you get to experience and how you look at the world as well. Because for me, if we step into that space of accepting ourselves and stepping into that space of love and understanding and out of that judgment, then we literally get to look at the world through those eyes. And what happens is if we bring that energy onto the planet of acceptance and really like full understanding of where everyone is coming from, we start creating this beautiful network of people who are not divisive. We're not like judging on each other, hating each other, all of that. We all basically step into that unity consciousness. And for me, that's one of the biggest things that we're striving for at the minute. And when
Yes.
you are starseed and you start realizing that, it's like, that's why we're here, to bring it all back.
Okay, wow, yeah, that's beautiful. And I guess for so many people watching, it is this thing of really embracing the Starseed lineage, which is the heart of your topic,
Mm.
and connecting with that soul mission, and off they go. But how do you? I mean, if people haven't really discovered or identified as being a starseed yet, how do you embrace your starseed lineage? Have you got any tips for us?
Yeah, so the first thing I would do is really start tuning into like feeling, am I one or aren't I one, right? And if you do feel, yes, I am, then it is all about starting to do some research and starting to check out like what is out there. And when you start reading, because there's a lot of information about um, like the traits of the different groups, etc. And there are plenty of people out there who also work with like helping people to identify what group they're from, etc. So make it your mission to find out. Because for me, when I realized, oh, it's Andromeda, I could then go from there and I'd go, okay, cool. So let me find out more about these people. What are they doing? Why are they here? And then it kind of it put back that sense of belonging, because I think the problem is what happens a lot is when you're a starseed, you feel like you don't belong. And when we don't feel like if we're not belonging, we can't ground properly and we can't be here and really connect to our purpose. So for me, I would definitely say, like, tune in first, then do your research, go look and see, because there's so much information. Find someone that you trust who can guide you onto the path. Look into it. I'm offering this meditation. So listen to the meditation and see what comes up for you during the meditation. When we invite in those energies of your star seeds to come through, and you connect with it, you'll start feeling it. There'll be that voice within you that will go like, this is real for me. So it's about starting to listen to yourself and to trust how you're feeling when you're reading up on these things. Because if your body is shouting this is a yes, like mine did through the response of just bursting into tears, then I trust that. I trust my body to tell me. So for me, it's very much about like listening to your body and then going and doing your research. And even if it's a bit scary, because I know this stuff for people is a bit like, oh my goodness, it's so foreign. But when you get in there and it's just like you start recognizing parts of yourself, you return to that belonging again. So there's definitely something there.
Right. Yeah. So it really is a key to unlocking one's soul purpose and mission. Sounds exactly. So important. Yeah. Wonderful.
And our bodies are not going to lie to us. That's the whole thing. For me, it's like our bodies never lie. And if your body's going, no, that doesn't feel right, or yes, that feels right, then you need to run. Like, go down that rabbit hole and go and see what is there, because the magic lies right there.
Right there. Yeah. Great. Yes. So exciting to kind of step into that possibility and potential. So can you elaborate on the starseed role in the collective role? I know there's many different types of starseeds, but the collective role in raising frequency for the planet, which is what we're concerned with in the summit, and the ascension process.
Okay. Yeah, so ascension is always an interesting one for me, because we very often, when you step into the spiritual realm and there's the teachings and living this way and all of that type of stuff, our first thing is like, oh, I want to step into ascension. I want to go there. But for me, it's really important that your work here, what you are doing in terms of raising frequency, etc., you are doing in your energy field. And as you are raising frequency in your energy field, you are actually collectively raising frequency as well. So it's not about striving to get somewhere, it's striving to work right here where you are now. And everything that you do to raise your own vibration collectively then influences. So if I change the way that I show up in the world and I'm more authentic and I work from my heart space and I'm really open and I am myself, I inspire the next guy who sees me to go, oh my goodness, I also want to work from my heart space. And he raises his vibration and that one raises their vibration. And so the more authentic I am, the more I'm showing up in a higher frequency. I'm inspiring other people to do the same thing. And that for me is really, that's what ascension is all about. When we in this planet, in this place, all get into the space of being the realist me, the realist possible part of myself that I can be, that is true freedom for everyone. That just opens up the heart of everyone, and then we end up treating animals better, we end up treating the earth better, we end up treating everyone else better. We step out of that lower density frequencies and we're actually all in a high vibration. And for me, that's what ascension is about. That's what the collective mission for me is about raising my frequency, and I influence everyone else then, and they in turn do their little bit as well. So we're all basically just lighting each other up to help the earth at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, I think actually that's a wonderful way of viewing it. Everyone lighting each other up like a chain effect or a ripple effect.
Yes.
So important. Yeah, we've been right here now. Just to go back to starseeds specifically, are there any particular challenges that you feel starseeds might face in doing their mission? And any advice you would want to give star seeds in dealing with those challenges?
Okay, so first thing always is it's really hard to be here. Like it feels like when you realize and you wake up to that, then being here is uncomfortable because your body, your frequency, like what you remember, everything is not necessarily from here. So the first thing is to get comfortable, to embrace this earth as much as you can, get into nature, like start reconnecting with Mother Earth again and feeling part of being here, like understanding, like I said before, is that your soul chose to come here. You are not here randomly. You chose to come here. You want to be here. So that for me is one of the most important things you can do. And then it's just like also understanding that you are going to feel like a black sheep. You're going to feel like the odd one out very often. And the more you try and be like everyone else, the harder it's going to be here. So for me, it was my journey was about embracing. I call it, I got out of the weirdo closet, right? Like I just went, boom, I'm here. Like everyone, I'm a starseed. I'm writing a book about this. I'm speaking about it all the time. And that at the end of the day helped me accept myself. And therefore everyone else who meets me is like, oh, okay, cool. She's a little bit weird, but we like her. So it's, it's literally like you step into that space of acceptance. So the more I accept myself with all my weird ideas and the things that I love doing and working with all the star beings and speaking about it openly, it diffuses everyone else's judgment as well, because I'm in my power, I'm in my belief and in my energy, and it just makes it easier. So if you feel like a weirdo, if you feel like an odd one out, you need to go look into that, because when you embrace it, it actually becomes a very joyful experience being here on earth, even if you're a bit different than other people.
Wonderful. And yeah, it's so wonderful to see you being who you really are and gifting us with everything that you have. And I think, yeah, that really is the essence, isn't it, of being authentic, being who you truly are. And that applies equally to Earth Souls. I think it's so important for everybody right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And your book, Yolandi, that's just come out, was it February it came out this year? It was very recent.
It started launching in June, so it officially launched in July.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so very, very recent. The
Yes.
Starseed Sacred Circle. And obviously you go much more deeply into the subject in your book. But is there anything that you'd like to mention right now for our viewers, something that might help with embracing their Starseed lineage, or just understanding the topic more deeply?
Mm-hmm. So I mean, when I started writing the book, it was very much, a lot of it is about understanding that there are different energies that we get to work with when we're here on this planet, and allowing ourselves to also be guided by other star beings. So in my book, I really go into depth. I work with the earth. So I've got there's basically a 5-step process that I go through in the book. And the earth was one of the key ones, is like reconnecting with earth energy. But then I also focus on working with Andromedan, Pleiadian, and Sirius energy and Arcturian energy. And for me, it's like when you realize your connection to the stars and you start tuning into the energies of the other star beings that are out there, you can get a lot of wisdom from them, and they can guide you back towards yourself. And for me, that's in the book. It was really important to help people to understand that when we tune into that frequency or that energy, that higher frequencies that is available to us, it just helps us to also raise our own vibration, and it helps us to get into a different frequency. So one of my biggest learnings was that I could actually start calling in that energy and start working with it. And that really shifted a lot for me, because when I realized that the star beings are constantly wanting to speak to us here on earth, wanting to connect with us, wanting to share wisdom, not just through people who come and channel, but also directly for you personally, that made a huge difference for me. And I write quite openly about that in the book, and a lot of the meditations that I've done where I channel the light language that comes through from the star beings, all of those frequencies, etc., because it shifts so much in us when we allow ourselves just to open up to those frequencies as well. And it moves you closer to who you really are at the end of the day again.
Wow, yeah, thank you. I think that's so important for us to remember right now, is that there is all this support available for us, and
Yes.
so much guidance if we are willing and able to tap into it and receive it. So
Yes.
yeah, I think that's a really important point.
Yeah.
And Yolandi, if we do have a few minutes, I'm wondering if it's possible for you to share the light language codes, something about the light language that you do with us. I've heard it before. It's so beautiful and so amazing. So is that something you can share with us?
Yeah, so I think so maybe just give you a little bit of background about what it is, because I know it's also something quite new and something that not everyone is familiar with. So for me, the when I was about 16 years old, I was still, my parents were in church. We were in the apostolic church here in South Africa and stuff. And what happened was that um, I started speaking in tongues, and I was a bit like, whoa, what's going on here? So while I was in church and I didn't understand it, and then obviously grew up, forgot about it, didn't want to be involved in all this weirdness that was coming out my mouth. And then a few years after I'd started going down the road of working with the Starseeds and really trying to understand them through the Akashic records and everything, it came up again. And this language that I spoke back then kind of came up, and I'm like, what is this? And when I started tuning into it and doing some research, I found that there's all these star languages and earth languages and languages from the fairies and from the gnomes and the all of the different elementals that you get here on earth, as well as different star beings. And it's all these different frequencies that we can literally speak out. So if I am channeling light language, I tune into these different frequencies, and these different languages basically can come through us, and we give that out, to people, or during a healing session or a big meditation or whatever you're doing. You're basically bringing that through. And these light codes and this information that comes from these higher frequency beings can then basically be translated through us out to the earth. And you can do this through speaking, you can do it through singing, a lot of signing as well with your hands, you can do it through art, writing, all of that type of stuff. So for me, light language is one of those things that it's like different frequencies that you get to tune into, and then you speak it out. So very often when I'm getting transmissions, when I'm doing meditations, if I tune into a certain planet, for instance, then the different frequencies will come through, and I will speak the languages of those planets. And then it's like when it hits your energy system or your frequency, then it lands there and it does what it needs to do. So very often people come and they'll go like, oh my goodness, I know this, or I felt this before, or it feels like it's healed something in me, it's shifted something in me. So that's really for me what light language is about. And I had to obviously work through the fear of all these weird and wonderful languages coming through me initially. But when I managed to work through it, it was absolutely amazing. And I've had such beautiful feedback, because it really is just bringing through cosmic and then also earth frequencies to people, so that they can experience it in a different way, if that makes sense.
Absolutely wonderful, and such
Yeah.
a wonderful tool for you to be able to use in your work. It's really powerful.
Yes.
So what about your work going forward now, Yolandi? Is there anything you'd like to share with us? Any kind of big project coming up, or another book in the pipeline?
I love it. Like
No pressure.
I've literally yeah, I say every time I go back to South Africa, it's just like when I go and visit home, like a new book drops in. So there's maybe a new book on the horizon, but I can't say much about it now. I've just had the first bare
Sure.
bones, and it's usually so, yeah. But obviously at the minute I'm really focusing on my book, and I'm also very much focusing on helping as many people as possible to reconnect with who they are. So my work is very much focused on helping people to remember, helping them to remember like where do you come from? Like, why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing here? And helping them to work through the blocks and the fears and being able to show up as their most authentic self. So for me, through my work, through DNA activation, through soul channeling, through speaking to their spirit directly and giving them the messages, that's how I really show up in this world, and helping them through light language healing and releasing of their Akashic records, past lives, things like that. I basically combine all of these things together. So for me, my focus is really on trying to get as many people to just start remembering like why they are here, and that's probably going to be my mission until I die. But that's my biggest focus at the minute, is like the great remembering that we're busy experiencing as a collective right now.
Great, wonderful, yeah, and such wonderful work. Thank you. And Yolandi has a wonderful free gift for everybody. It's a Starseed Lineage activation meditation, which has been especially channeled for the summit. Yolandi, would you like to just tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, so obviously we've spoken about the light language. So they will in the meditation, it's all about like bringing through the different frequencies. And if you can think about like light language as being like little keys unlocking parts of you. So what my meditation focuses on is being able to open you up so that you literally have your rememberings coming back again. And then it's like, if you can imagine, like we need to reconnect with that planet, we need to reconnect with that part of ourselves. So the minute we reconnect with the frequency and the energy of the planet, and even if you are on Earth Soul and you're listening to this, it's about like remembering your ancient connection here to this planet as well. So that's what the meditation focuses on, is about like unlocking that part of yourself that is either out there or down here under your feet, and helping you to remember who you are. So for me, the Starseed lineage is that deep remembering and opening up of your consciousness, so that you can go back and bring through the beautiful wisdom and the knowledge that you're meant to be sharing on this planet again. So yeah, opening up doors, that's what it's all about.
Great. It sounds amazing, and I'm sure everybody listening would love to claim that free gift. You just need to scroll down beneath this video on the Summit website, and you'll see there the free gift and the button for the link. You just click on that, and it'll take you right through to Yolandi's website. So thank you for that, Yolandi, and thank you for sharing all of this with us today. It's been so wonderful speaking with you.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I always go off on a bit of a tangent when it comes to these things because I'm so passionate about it. But it's really lovely to get to share, my just like my beliefs and stuff with you guys. So I really appreciate that you invited me. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's a great pleasure and wonderful to see your passion. And thank you also to our amazing audience for co-creating this summit space with us. And just like to say goodbye and send love and light to everybody.